What a time it is to be alive as an English Vanguard player. Clan Collection is coming out soon. I'm super hyped for it, and we finally have an official game that I will potentially stream when it comes out. We got Cardfight Vanguard Dear Days. And yeah, first let's talk about Clan Collection, and these are my top picks for Clan Collection Volume 5. So this one I felt like was going to be really clear cut like Clan Collection 3 was, but when I really looked at the cards and I started sort of talking to some friends in my Discord, as well as theory crafting in my head, the race for which decks I found to be the most exciting for me to play when they come out became a lot closer. So I have 3 honorable mentions, so it's basically a top 6, but I'm not going to go too deeply into the 3, but I will give my sort of reason as to why I put them there. And then we have the actual top 3. So these are all, again, guys, my personal opinion. And we'll get straight into number 6, or honorable mention, third place honorable mention, I guess. It is Dragon Monk Goku. So his first ability is once per turn you can counterblast 1, discard a grade 3 from your hand, and he gets plus 1 drive for the rest of the turn. So he gets triple drive, and then his second ability is at the end of the battle that it attacked, you can counterblast 1 and then perform all the abilities according to the grades of the normal units that were revealed for his drive check. So grade 3, you can retire 2 rear guards. Grade 2, you can restand 1 of your rear guards. And grade 1, you can choose 1 of your rear guards to get plus 10k. So he's not, I wouldn't say he's great on his own, but with Dauntless, you get 6 drive checks. And with Dauntlesses, if you drive check minimum 2 normal units, then you get plus 10 somewhere on the field. I think that's really good, and it really does help that Dauntless is being reprinted in this set, but I'm not going to go too deeply into Goku, but he is one of the decks that I plan to build. Next, this is where things got very, very, very contentious, but I have to go with Thundering Ripple Genovius. For this, I apologize. I haven't memorized all of these, all of their abilities by heart, and my phone does not want to react properly. But his ability is once per turn from Vanguard, Soul Blast 1, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, call 1 of them, shuffle the rest back. Then his other ability is when he attacks, if you have no standing units in your front row, you can counterblast 1, choose 1 of your rear guards, and stand it. But if your limit break 4, basically, then you can restand everything, and everything that stands because of his ability gets plus 5k. So I think this is really good, but I had a hard time sort of justifying putting him higher up on the list, which I will contradict myself with later, because you need to have 4 damage, and if your opponent is aware that it does have a threshold ability, then it does begin to get a lot harder, and your opponent can just sort of stall you at 3 and then go for the one punch KO with you after. And if they do that, then you're just restanding 1 rear guard and getting plus 10, maybe, if you're standing up Pavroth or the grade 1. So Genovius, really fun, but really does require an optimal field for you to really get the full usage out of his ability. Next, number 4, I guess, my number 1 honorable mention is Evil Armor Sovereign Yura Giraffa Reverse. Beautiful art. I cannot say anything against it. He looks amazing, and his ability is when it attacks a Vanguard, counterblast 1, your opponent chooses 1 or more cards from their hand and calls them to rear guard as rest, and your opponent's card abilities do not activate from those calls. So they just call them down as rest, and then they're there. And then if the number of cards your opponent called is less than the number of grade 3 giraffas in your soul, then you can lock a rear guard and restand him. Then the second ability is during your turn, when your opponent's rear guard is called, you can lock one of your rear guards and all of your front row units get plus 15k. And this is one of the things that I was looking for in my Giraffa deck. My only problem was, I guess it was just down to my inability to deck build a Mega Colony deck. But one of the main things that I noticed was that even though the paralyzation was really good, Brilliant Blister is really good, it is really hard to pump those numbers up to a point where your opponent really feels threatened by anything. And the fact that Giraffa lets you pump numbers on your own turn and he restands himself without losing a drive check or having to discard anything is really, really nice. The only problem is, and one of the reasons why I put him outside of the top 3, is because you need to have a specific number of Giraffas in your soul, and it really is the regular Giraffa, I believe, that does put rear guards into your soul. So I will look through the catalog again to see if there are easier or quicker ways to get Giraffas in there, but Giraffa Reverse is looking really, really, really fun to play. So that's it for our honorable mentions. Let's get straight into the top 3. And in third place, I have to put this. I'm going against myself with what I said against Genovius with Eradicator Vowing Saber Dragon Reverse. Now, first off, I have this art is amazing, looks so good. I just love the front art. So this one, Amon Reverse, and basically everything else that just has a front profile facing art. It looks amazing. But anyway, his abilities are: from Vanguard, once per turn you can counterblast 1, lock one of your rear guards. Your opponent chooses 1 card each from their hand, rear guard, and drop zone and bind them. And then his second ability is the same as Vowing Sword's ability, but for those of you who probably don't remember Vowing Sword's ability because Vowing Sword isn't really one of the memorable units from its set. When your opponent's unit is bound other than from deck, so normal unit is bound other than from their deck during their turn, your opponent searches for another copy of that card and binds it. If they bound something, one of your units gets plus 5k. If they don't bind anything, then one of your units gets plus 10k instead. So automatically, for a counterblast and locking a rear guard, you automatically get a minimum plus 15 to your board, and you're also ripping a card out from your opponent's hand, field, drop zone, and 3 cards from their deck as well. So that helps with the numbers boost. Now, the real ability that makes it stand out from Vowing Sword, if you didn't already like the first ability, is when it attacks, if you have 1 or more cards in your soul or on your rear guard with Vowing in their card names, you can counterblast 1, soul blast 1, choose one of your rear guards and restand it. If your damage zone has 4 or more cards, you can restand all of your rear guards instead. So this is decent by itself. If you can restand your whole field, again, you are kind of stuck in the limit break 4 clause. It is a really good ability if you run beaters like Thunderous Beat, I believe is his name. Yes, Thunderous Beat Dragon right here gets plus 10k automatically. He's a 22k beater. Swing at them twice with it. It is a really good time. On top of that, getting reprinted in this set, which this is the reason why I think that it deserves top 3, at least for me, is Descendant is getting reprinted. And of course, imagine writing Descendant over this, you get all of Vowing Saber's abilities. So automatically off the ride, you can counterblast 1, lock a rear guard, and get plus 15 on the field. You can give all the effects to Descendant or spread it out to the field. Attack with the field, attack with Descendant, restand your whole field, attack with the field again because you restand Descendant if it doesn't hit, attack with the whole field again, attack with Descendant again, and then you restand your entire field again. Granted, it does take a lot of counterblasts to do. If you do activate all of Vowing Saber's abilities, then it is about 3 counterblast and 2 soul blast. On top of Descendant, which I believe also is a counterblast for the restand. I could be wrong. Just going off of memory, I'll put an edit here or something. But the fact that you get so many attacks, I feel this is what Eradicators really would like as a change of pace to the usual Gauntlet and Descendant, just because Gauntlets are so expensive right now. But yeah, I think this will be a really fun deck for me to try out. If I don't try it out, then Yet will probably try it out. But yeah, that is my top 3. Moving to the my second favorite deck coming out of this set, it is Heretic Battle Sister Fromage Reverse. So first off, again, art, amazing, amazing, amazing art. I love how I just love the color palette and everything, and it just looks gorgeous. So her first ability is, during your turn, all your units with Battle Sister in their name get plus 5k for each of your locked cards. So, you know, anywhere from 5 to 10k. Basically, she does do a better job than Fromage in terms of field buffing, kind of. You are losing rearguard space, but you do get that back with Fromage's second ability, which is once per turn, Counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand. Look at the same number of cards from the top of your deck as your units with Battle Sister and their different card names. Choose any number of cards from among them, put them at the top of your deck in any order, and the rest at the bottom in any order. Then lock one or more of your rear guards with Battle Sister and their different card names, and draw a card for each card that you lock. So I think that this is really, really good for setting things up, especially because if you have a full field of Battle Sisters, then you get to look at 6 cards from the top of your deck, and let's say there's one card that you want, you just lock one, put that on top, draw it, and you know what the rest of the 5 cards are, or you just put down whatever else you don't need. And that's I think that's really, really good in terms of being able to set things up, because Battle Sisters are pretty good. One thing that I noticed is that she doesn't actually require like any Fromages in the soul, so it's really nice. So you can start just going at it with her ability right from your first grade 3 turn. Unlike, for example, Vowing Saber, which would require you to either ride Descendant or ride a second Vowing, which again does take away your momentum in terms of trying to end things quickly. But one thing that I really like about this is that even if you do lose a rearguard or 2 to locking, you still do have things like Kasata, you do have Macaron, and you do have Mocha and Coco that are getting reprinted in this set as well, which also do really, really help with her ability, and also getting the numbers that you lose from locking on top of Fromage's plus 5, plus 10s. If you really want to go for it, then plus 15s. So that is my number 2. This one is mostly because I just love Oracle Think Tank, and I used to run Battle Sisters back in Limit Break. So yeah, old Avatar turned reverse. It's amazing. All right, and number 1, this is one of those releases that I didn't think we were going to get. It really is kind of out of left field, but it has 1, nostalgia value. 2, I really like the art. And 3, it gives me 3 Vanguard attacks on my first grade 3 turn. His name is Enigman Storm. So Enigman Storm's ability, first one, kind of sucks in V Premium, just because he is the only Enigman in the V series catalog of cards. But his ability is, during your turn, it gets plus 5k for each Enigman in your soul, so he has some sort of scaling. If you manage to ride all 4 somehow, then he is plus 15, which is really good. Next, his second ability, and the one that caught my attention, is at the beginning of your attack step, if his power is at least 20k, he gets a crit. Then if it's 35, then he gets an extra drive, and if it's 50 or greater, he gets, once per turn at the end of the battle that this unit attacked, discard 2 cards from your hand, stand this unit, and decrease or increase its drive checks to 0 until end of turn. So it kind of sucks that he does lose all of his drive checks on restand, but you also have to remember that Brad Black exists. It's only worse if you're going second. But the setup in my mind is Kaisered, ride over. Kaisered with Brad Black, you get an automatic force marker from Brad Black. You discard a card, get another force marker from Kaisered. Attack with Brad Black, get your drive checks. Hopefully already have an Enigman Storm in your hand. Ride the Enigman Storm, get another force marker that brings you up to 43, and then just have, I guess, a Twin Order and maybe a Dizaris for the extra drive check and plus 10k. So you would automatically get plus 40 on Enigman Storm before he even attacks the first time. You attack with Enigman Storm. He gets 1 minus drive from Brad Black, but he gives himself an extra drive, and then Dizaris gives him another drive. So you go up to a triple drive on that first attack, and you're already pretty beefy at that first Enigman Storm attack. Restand it for just discarding two cards. Swing with him again, and there you go. You have 3 Vanguard attacks. You still have 1 more lane to attack with and dump your triggers into after that first Enigman Storm attack. And that's kind of how I see it. And that is those are my favorite decks. Those are the decks that I am looking to build in Clan Collection Volume 5. It was a doozy picking these out. Volume 6 is going to be even harder for me to choose. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your comments and suggestions. What you guys think of Clan Collection Volume 5. Leave your top 5 down in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys are looking at when this set comes out in August. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Jello the Casual Card Gamer. Take care.